Chris Shandak, CYInterview, covering Las Vegas and the world. If you have not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with everything we have going on here in Las Vegas and beyond. We greatly appreciate your support. So today we're going to start a segment where we revisit all these different past celebrities we have met on CYInterview over the years that we've had the great fortune of meeting. We're going to start today with music superstar and actress Olivia Netwon-John. We met Olivia back in 2015 at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas on the Las Vegas Strip during her residency in the entertainment capital of the world. To begin, the concert was great. She sung many of her great hits, including Physical and Xanadu. And then after that, we got to go to a meet and greet where we had a chance to meet her. I was happy that she was willing to take a couple of pictures for our coverage on CYInterview. She was a very personable and nice person. It was a wonderful night meeting Olivia back in May of 2015. Fortunately, 4 years later, we were able to then have her on CYInterview to talk about her book, Don't Stop Believing It. In that CYInterview, we did get to touch on the Las Vegas residency as well. So today we're going to feature our audio conversation with Olivia Netwon-John from 2019. I'm going to share it at the end of this video if you'd like to listen to that 20 plus minutes when we had CYInterview had the great Olivia Netwon-John. So Olivia was nice, she was personable, had a smile on her face, and we were so grateful to have the opportunity to meet her back in 2015 at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino. The picture for the thumbnail on this video is from that meet and greet, as you can imagine. I'm Chris Shandak for CYInterview. Enjoy this 20 minutes of CYInterview with Olivia Netwon-John. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up with everything we have going on here in Las Vegas and beyond. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next video, and enjoy this CYInterview.
You're on CYInterview.
I'm Chris Shandak, featured columnist Jay Bilstein is with me today on CYInterview. We welcome singer, actress, superstar Olivia Netwon-John. Her new book out is titled Don't Stop Believing, the long-awaited memoir. Olivia, thank you for being with us today on CYInterview.
You're very welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you so very much. I just want to say to start out with, I've really enjoyed reading your book. A lot of interesting and positive stories. How has the book tour been going, and what's been the most interesting part so far?
Well, my tour I've been doing by telephone, which is probably the easiest way I've ever done any tour, and really enjoying it. I did a couple of things in LA, but I've been mainly doing stuff on the phone, and it's doing really well. The book went to #7 on the New York Times bestseller list, which I didn't expect at all. I didn't expect to be in the charts again, so that was exciting.
I don't think it's very surprising, honestly, with all of the things that you've accomplished in your career on the screen and, of course, with music. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Really well. Really feeling good.
Well, here's what I'm going to say to you. You know, getting a chance to read the book and go through it, you know, and you get to relive many of these accomplishments. Do you ever reflect on those accomplishments and feel satisfied?
It's not something I think about, really. I live my life, and when I wrote the book, of course, I went, oh, wow, that's pretty good, you know. Pretty good for an Aussie chick. But I don't think about them a lot, but when I do, I'm just very grateful I've had such an amazing career. But I do, particularly now, live in the present, live in the moment that I'm having, and I don't really think much about the past, and today is a gift, and that's how I see it, stay in the present.
Jay?
You know, Olivia, going through the 1970s and being a big music fan and constantly listening to the radio, you were there all the time. And to me, I kind of break down your career as BG and AG, before Grease and after Grease.
BG,
you know, because there was this entire period, which I think some younger folks may not realize, where you were so incredibly dominant in the music scene. And I think a lot of people today, the first thing they think of is Grease. With that said, and I gave a lot of thought to your career, do you ever reflect back and say, am I looked at as someone, or was I looked at someone who was a country star, a pop star? Did you ever kind of try to identify where you were in music, or did you just go out and perform?
I just did it, and I sang songs that I liked, and you know, when I first started out and I was having country music hits, I really had no idea that country music had a separate chart because I was in England. The songs were written by an Englishman. My first big hits, If You Love Me, Let Me Be There, Please Mr. Please, were all written by a gentleman called John Rostel, who was an Englishman, and he was a bass player in the Shadows. And my producers were an Englishman and an Australian. I had no idea about country music, really, because I was in the pop world and doing cabaret and stuff with my partner, Pat. So when I had these country music hits, it was like, oh, wow, there's a whole chart that is just country. And my voice just seemed to suit that kind of music. Well, that's what my producers thought and my manager. And I was a folk singer when I first started, so it kind of made sense. But I really wasn't aware of that. But I've really covered a lot of different genres with my music. I see music as music, and I love the fact that they're all kind of melding, a melting pot of sounds now with all the different ones coming together. And I just feel very grateful. I've had hits in all different styles, even a #1 disco hit with my daughter.
Interesting. You know, again, going back to the 1970s and thinking about your music, I can say that going through the 70s, my kind of focus was rock. But I can also say with all my friends, and we're talking about, you know, people who were in junior high school and high school, besides your music, I'm sure you realize you were also a pop icon. You were someone who made a lot of people's hearts beat a bit faster. Did that, I don't know, did that ever give you cause for pause, make you feel uncomfortable? Did you just want to be known for your music, or were you okay with the fact that, you know, there were plenty of guys with your poster on a wall or a photograph on the wall and thought of Olivia Newton-John as more than just a songstress, but wow, what a woman.
I don't really think I pause to think about it too much. I don't think about myself that way. I've always had my feet on the ground, and I don't tend to, I mean, I kind of laugh when I think about that. But I was very flattered, and I was more focused on just singing my songs and recording and touring and living my life, and I don't really think I ever really thought. I think once you start thinking about yourself too much, that's a trap, and you start to take yourself too seriously. It was what it was, and I was very lucky and very fortunate, very grateful.
Chris?
Olivia, in the book, Don't Stop Believing, you talk very candidly about Grease, of course, and I thought it was very interesting that you had to kind of be convinced and even asked by John Travolta to do Grease. Looking back on it, do you ever think about what would your career have been like had you not done Grease, or how life would have been different?
No, I don't do. Do you think back a lot about those things? I mean, obviously it would have been a different world, but I don't know what would have happened. I mean, I would have probably just focused on my music, and my music did well. But you know, my music in the movie did exceptionally well, and then of course the music from Xanadu, another film. Those are some of my biggest records were from films, and then Physical after that, of course, was amazing. But I don't know what it would have been. I mean, how do we know? We never know what it would have been. So I'm just happy the way it turned out. So I was lucky.
Chris, may I interject something?
Sure, of course.
You know what, Olivia? I think you just taught us something here. At least you just gave me a teachable moment. Perhaps we're asking the questions, and you're answering them. Because instead of reflecting on the past, you focused on doing, you focused on accomplishing, and you focused on producing your art, your music, your acting. And maybe that's a lesson for all of us, that we got to get our heads out of looking at the past too much and worrying about the future too much and live in the now. Would you say that's accurate about your life?
Absolutely. I think that. I think when I was younger, I think when you're young, you worry about everything. I mean, that's been a gift of age, I find, is that you worry less, and also the gift of going through difficulties, which I have gone through and am going through, but I'm doing great. But I think you need to focus on now. Now is all we have. This moment now is all we are sure of. Yesterday is gone. We can't change it. Tomorrow there's no guarantees of anything. So really all we have is this moment, and I try to make the most of each moment and make it as positive as I can.
Well said, Chris.
Well, I want to say that's what I was going to ask you next, is that you really have this this kind of way you live your life, and as you read Don't Stop Believing, you just have a very positive, good feeling about you and how you see the world and how you see life. Do you think that that maybe is the most important thing of how the way you live your life? Because that's what I feel like I've gathered from you in reading the book and reading some of the other interviews you did before speaking with us today.
Well, I'm glad you got that because, yes, I think that is what keeps me going, and I've always been a pretty positive person, but I'm human, and I have fears and doubts and all the things that everyone goes through. But I really believe that you create your world by what you think. I mean, your brain is what, everyone has a different brain, and what goes inside your brain is creating your reality. So you need to keep that reality positive. If you're going through illness or you're going through a hard time, you need to keep a positive thought or try and keep one going in some way, or do something for yourself that makes you feel good, because life is difficult for people and everyone's stressed out and worried about stuff. So concentrating on this moment and what you can do better in this moment is the best we can do, I think.
Very quickly, before I get to my last question, and Jay might have a few more, I feel like as I was reading your book when you were starting out in your music career and you were touring with Pat and you guys were just kind of going from one place to another, you were just like so happy in those early performing days. Like it was just such a joy for you to get up on stage, it felt like, as I was reading the book.
Well, I think, I really enjoyed singing with Pat. I've always enjoyed duets and being on stage with somebody else. I found it harder when I started out my solo career and it was just me. That was a little more nerve-wracking. I always enjoyed it once I got on the stage, but before I got out there, I was a wreck. I mean, every day I was so nervous that, how was I going to do it? How was I going to remember? And all this stuff. And, that was just because I wanted everything to be perfect. I was probably a bit too much of a perfectionist and worried about everything. And now, of course, I can enjoy performing a lot more because I don't have to prove anything. I'm not building. I've done it, and this is all icing on the cake.
Well, speaking of performing, back in May of 2015, I got a chance to attend your show at the Flamingo, and I did get to meet you during the meet and greet, and it was very nice meeting you. You're such a joy. I love the show.
Thanks.
What do you recall from your Las Vegas residency? And I'm sure you keep up with the news, but Lady Gaga and so many others are now doing this.
Yeah,
what was that like for you?
I really enjoyed the Vegas experience. I went there for a year and ended up staying 3 years, which says something right there. And I really loved it because it was like a regular job. I went to the show every night at the same time. I went home, we rented a house, we took our animals there, my husband and I took our dog and our cat, we flew them up with us each time. And it was like having a really normal life, except, I went to work at night instead of during the day. And that was really enjoyable. I loved the fact that my friends from all over the world would come to see me, so I caught up with a lot of friends when I was there, more than when I was at home or touring. And the audiences were wonderful. The staff at the Flamingo was great. I love my band, so we're like a little family on the road. So, I really did enjoy it very much.
Do you have any favorite stories about any of the people who came to see you, whether it was Donnie or Marie Osmond or Mariah Carey or any of the other people who had residencies while you had residency?
Well, the residents couldn't come because we always sang on the same night. I think Donnie and Marie came on separate nights on the week. I think they had a week off and were staying an extra couple of days. Kirsten Wiig came. A bunch of the people from Greece came up on stage with me, and a few of the Greece guys came. So and Dee Dee, of course, who always comes up on stage. I love her. So it was wonderful, and I had, I'm forgetting people, of course. There were a lot of celebrities that came and joined me on stage for a part of the show, and it was really a wonderful experience.
Before I throw it to Jay to finish up with you, and thank you so much for your time today, Don't Stop Believing, the title of your book, of course, a famous song. I think those 3 words really are something that's inspirational for people to believe that anything can happen if we want to keep working towards something, no?
Yeah, exactly. And that's not Joni's Don't Stop Believing. That's my Don't Stop Believing. It's a song that John Farrar wrote for me many years ago. I didn't know if he knew because I've had some other people ask me if it was Joni's song. And it's just a beautiful lyric, and I've always, it was one of the first kind of really positive songs that I got to record, and had such a gorgeous melody. And when I was thinking of titles for the song, for the book, that's the one that just kept coming back to me all the time. And I thought, well, that's the one I need to use because that is how I live my life. You got to just keep believing that things will work out.
Are you going to perform again in the near future?
Not in the near future, and I don't know if I will again. I've worked last year, and then after I had my setback in September, I've taken time off, and I'm getting to really like it. I don't know if you'll get me back on the road. I've never been in one place this long. I don't think in my whole life since I was a little girl. So actually waking up in the morning and feeding my animals and looking at the birds and wandering out in nature, that has been so amazing to me. I'm not sure I want to get back out there now.
Well, it was just such a joy to see you in May of 2015 and meet you. You're such a nice person, Jay.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for talking to me. I'm sorry I was late.
Olivia, if I might, where are you currently living?
We are based in Florida, but at the moment I'm in California, and we spend a lot of time in Australia. So we're all over the map. But California.
I got you. Did you enjoy living in Las Vegas? I'm sure you enjoyed performing, but how did you feel being in the desert?
I love the desert. We used to go to Red Rocks all the time, take our dog for long hikes and stuff. I really loved it there. I'm not so much a city person, but we rented a house on the outskirts, and we used to, go for walks and picnics and things out there. And Vegas is a lot of fun. Great restaurants and fantastic shows if you have a few nights off to do stuff. But I was working every night, so I didn't really get a chance.
One silly question and one serious question to kind of wrap things up. The silly question is this. So you're in Las Vegas. Do performers, and I mean you are an absolute superstar, an icon, does one person call another, and do you get on a phone one day and say, hey, Celine, let's go have a barbecue, and all of a sudden you're getting together with other performers in your off time, hanging out, having a barbecue and comparing notes, or is that just something in a fan's imagination?
For me, it's in the fan's imagination, because when I had a day off, usually you just want to rest and just do nothing or go to a movie or something. So no, I didn't do that. I've met those girls, but I don't know them well, and they all have their lives and their kids, and the weekends are kind of sacred. So I didn't really spend any time with them, unfortunately, and very often we were on different schedules. So I'd be there at the times that they weren't. Brittany was next door to me in one of the places I was staying, so I got to see her a little bit, and I saw Elton a few times. He's a friend. But apart from that, I didn't really see anyone. Johnny and Marie, of course, they're friends too. Yeah.
Understood. And here comes my serious question. I am fascinated by the artistic process. Mm-hmm. And so when you're singing, for example, a song like Hopelessly Devoted to You, mm-hmm. do you create like in acting, sometimes they talk about Stanislavski and sense memory and the method and all these different processes that an actor will go into to get the best out of himself emotionally for a role. Mm-hmm. Have you or worked at doing something similar in singing? If you're, again, singing a song like Hopelessly Devoted to You, are you thinking about a broken-hearted moment that you had? Or are you thinking about, for a different kind of song, an upbeat moment? Or does it just come naturally and you sing?
With the ballads, I mean, I really believe that when you sing, you are reenacting a little kind of vignette, a little 3-minute movie. So I have something going on in my head. It'll be different every night. It's not like I recreate the same movie. I've probably done 1,000 different movies in my head. But I do use imagination, and I call on feelings and memory. And, that's how you make it real. Because if you just sing, you can be perfect, and every note can be perfect. But if you don't touch anybody, then I don't believe you've done your job.
Yeah, and I can speak personally, and I think for many, many, many other people, wow, that song certainly was very, very touching. And I always got the feeling, again, back in high school, and I'd hear that you had something in mind, that you were singing to a person, and it's like there was a backstory to that song. I don't know if it was true, or like you said, there were a variety of backstories or vignettes that you created in your mind, but very, very powerful indeed.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think we've all had, unrequited love, or we've all had a broken heart. I mean, it's part of the human condition, so you just draw on those feelings. I mean, I wasn't trained to do it. That's just been where I was, and the lyrics of a song, you're conveying those words. So the words, I love words and what they mean, and That's always very important to me, the lyric of a song. You can have a great melody, but if the words don't match, it doesn't work for me.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much. It's really been a distinct pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, you too.
And much luck on your book and with everything the future holds. And I'm sure your fans and anybody who has the slightest interest in music is going to be absolutely riveted in reading your book and in listening to this interview and all your other wonderful interviews. And again, thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Olivia, thank you so very much for being on CYInterview. And in closing with that thought, any message to your fans?
I'd love to say thank you to all of them for all their support over the years and for coming to my shows and for sending me letters and gifts and all the sweetness. And, you know, our fans make it possible for us to do our work. We wouldn't have an audience without them, be very lonely. So I'd like to say I'm very grateful to them and thank you.
The title of the book is Don't Stop Believing, a memoir. So for musician, singer, actress, mega superstar Olivia Netwon-John, featured columnist Jay Bilstein, and CYInterview, I'm Chris Shandak. Olivia, thank you so very much for being on CYInterview today.
Thank you.